continuing our series on useful kitchen tools and how to use them with the diva of deliciousness herself, Miss Tinky Weisblat. Tinky, what do you have with you today?
I have one of my favorite casserole dishes. Ta-da!
It is beautiful. I love that it's a heart.
I know you don't have to have a heart-shaped one, but if you do, that's just all to the good. The thing I wanted to emphasize is the size. This is about, it might be a little more, but if you only have one casserole dish, and some of us don't have that much room in our kitchens.
True.
2 quarts is a good size because it fits most things. I have some ones, and occasionally they kind of overflow in the oven. So this is actually, we're not going to quite fill this one, but it's a good size to have. The other thing you want to remember about your ceramic dishes, which most of them are, is I mean, it's okay for it to be on the stove right now because the stove's not on. But never try putting them on a hot stove because they're going to crack. They can go in the oven, but they can't stand that intense heat on their bottoms.
I've had that happen to me once.
Yeah, I know, it's sad. And you're like, do I keep the food? Do I lose the... We don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to use this to make a rhubarb cobbler.
Yum.
So we're going to start by, and I've actually started already, but you'll see. The first thing you do is you take sugar and cornstarch and you put them in a pot and mix them, and then you add rhubarb and a little lemon juice, and this has been sitting for about 45 minutes. It should probably sit a little longer. We'll pretend that we're going to cook it though.
So you let it sit to what?
Let it sit. You can see, I don't know whether you can see very well, but there's liquid starting to come out.
So that like leaches the liquid, makes the
out of the rhubarb
softer,
and it means makes it softer. It also means that in order to cook it, you don't have to add any water because you want a little bit of liquid to cook it. So when it gets liquidy enough, and I would say it'll be there in about 15 or 20 minutes, but we won't. So we're going to move on. But anyway, then you bring it to a boil, stirring pretty frequently. And it should be a gentle boil. And you boil it for 1 minute, and then you take it off the stove. You add a little bit of cinnamon, and then you put it in your casserole dish.
And this is what it looks like after it's been cooked?
This is what it looks then. You can see it's kind of mushed up. And it's got, I don't know whether you can see the cinnamon, but there's a little cinnamon in there.
I can certainly smell it. It smells great.
I know, I love cinnamon. I think it says a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I probably put in a tablespoon because I love cinnamon.
Yeah.
Then we dot the top with a little bit of butter.
Now, you didn't have to butter the dish, the casserole dish?
That's a good point. Yes, you know, I have done it without buttering the casserole dish, and it's liquid enough so it doesn't matter too much. Okay. But in general, I like to butter the dish just to make sure that you get every last delicious bit of cobbler out. Okay.
Now, Tinky, this is rhubarb that you picked yourself, right?
I picked this from my very yard, between the raindrops.
Yeah, so this is really fresh.
Yes.
And this is something people can go out and...
Yes. So, I'll tell you, I'll have you start mixing things, and I'll tell about picking rhubarb.
Okay.
Okay? So would you just whisk that together very quickly?
This is flour.
Flour, a little bit of sugar, baking powder. Salt. Actually, the sugar's not in there yet. Whoops.
Now it is.
Now it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to cut in the butter, and I'm going to talk about picking rhubarb.
Okay.
How's that?
That sounds great.
Okay. I didn't bring my pastry blender, so I don't know if, do you know the knife method of blending?
I don't. Is it just kind of like this?
You got it.
Oh, great.
And if you end up with just one knife, that's fine. So when you go to pick your rhubarb, in your yard or a neighbor's yard, if your neighbor has rhubarb, but you ask first. What you do is you take with you a knife and a bag. You don't cut the rhubarb. I do this every single year on Mess Appeal, but I love it. You don't cut the rhubarb. You pull it very gently and laterally out. And it will usually come right out. If it doesn't, you just pull some more and it'll all come out. Then you immediately, with your knife, lop off the leaves because...
The leaves are poisonous.
You got it, Alanna. Exactly.
We talked about that last time Tinky was here, and I was not aware that the leaves were poisonous.
But they're good mulch. So you just leave them out there in the rhubarb patch.
Compost.
Yep, exactly.
So I'm cutting away here, and this is just to sort of incorporate. You want it sort of pea size or something?
Pea size, yeah. And while you're doing that, I'm going to mix together. I seem to have dripped a little milk. We're not going to worry about it. Milk and egg with a little fork.
We only have about 30 seconds left.
Okay, so I'm going to just tell you what we're going to do.
Okay, that sounds great.
We're going to mix the milk and the egg in. Let's just do it.
Let's do it. Why not? It's going to come out good no matter what.
It's going to be delicious.
All the ingredients are tasty.
Then we're going to take this substance.
And this is like a biscuit dough topping.
It's exactly like a biscuit dough topping. And I have somebody who says, oh, do you roll it out? No. Are you crazy?
It's easier to spoon.
It's easier just to go plop plop.
Oh my goodness, this comes together
Little
quick.
plops, like little biscuits around the top. And in the top of that, I'm going to put a little bit of brown sugar, and then we're going to put it in the oven, and then we're going to take it out and eat it.
Can we see one?
Oh,
Can I go grab one?
No, we're going to have it when we're at our next segment.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're
going to be ready. It doesn't cook that long. It's at 400
So we get to see this the next time we come later on in the show.
Exactly.
And we cannot wait. Don't forget, all of these recipes are on our website, mymassappeal.com.